Let's bring in Africa Security and Policy Analyst Abdullahi Boru Halakhe. 7 million people eligible to vote in Senegal. We're seeing some long lines in spots. What are your takeaways from this election?
I think it just shows that despite all that preceded, this election, majority of Senegalese remain and have a lot of faith in election as a means of finding who is going to be their to be their leader. Despite all the talks around a retreat of election or of democracy on the continent, that retreat is not largely borne out by how enthusiastic people are. It is just that the leaders are not as enthusiastic as the citizens.
So this election delayed, as the report pointed out, which led to chaos. Can you describe the lead up to this vote? What's it been like there in Senegal?
It was tense in the sense that, Senegal is looked at as a beacon of stability in a region that is beset with a lot of turmoil, meaning here the change of leadership through coups. We've seen it in Niger, we've seen it in Burkina Faso, we've seen it in Mali. And Senegal is one of the only countries in that region that has not experienced a coup. As a result, when sometime in February, the outgoing President Macky Sall said that he was going to postpone the election and for the next 10 months, that wasn't very well received. It is also a measure of how invested the Senegalese are. They came out onto the street and said no to him. The matter ended in court, and the court ruled in favor of an election going on as it is now. So it is, again, the strength of the institution here, the judiciary, but also the level of trust that people have, or investment that people have in an electoral process as a way of determining who is going to lead them.
Macky Sall not on the ballot. There are a couple of leading candidates. You have a former prime minister who's likely to do well, facing off against a man who just was released from jail 10 days ago. Those are the likely ones who might end up in a runoff. What can you tell us about him?
I think both of them, Amadou Ba, 62, who was the Macky Sall's prime minister, and Bassirou Faye, who's 44, both of the, who is now going to stand in place of Ousmane Sonko, who was denied a chance to run because of the court cases that he had. Let me just say that Bassirou was also released because he was arrested, amongst many others, because of what I described that preceded the election. Here, really, the two candidates who are not on the ballot, that is President Macky Sall, who is backing Amadou Ba, and Ousmane Sonko, who is backing Bassirou Faye, both of them loom very large over this. Just to give you a sense, both candidates, that is Amadou Ba, is a tax inspector, as well as Bassirou Faye, both of them are tax inspectors. So in a sense, the only thing that I suspect is we might not get an outright winner in the first round, and we might end up being in the second round, which will be a little bit tricky because you have to build a coalition in order to get votes from everybody to be elected. So I think we should brace ourselves for a couple of days before we know who will be the eventual winner.
And elections are always about people, but also policy. So what are the key issues in this race?
I think Amadou is promising stability and continuity, whereas Faye is promising a change, a break from all the things. He's saying he's young. Majority of Senegalese are young people, whereas Amadou is saying, look, I'm going to continue to build on what Macky Sall has done. But I think in both of them, they will face tremendous amount of question because Faye is untested and Amadou has been there. And what has been there for majority of the Senegalese people is not something that they want to continue because they want to change. The economy is not doing very well. Almost a third of young people in Senegal do not have job. As a result, they are making long and perilous journey to try and leave Senegal, some of them ending up dead at the sea. So continuity while good, incumbency, promising continuity of incumbency while good, but it's not necessarily what people want, but we'll get to know if majority will vote for change or continuity in the next couple of days.
We'll be watching that vote. Thank you so much for your insights.